parade's always the most fun. Always. I don't have a list of the dignitaries.
I heard Rachel on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
The day you took her to work with you. And you totally screwed up Hakuna Matata.
Well, we should be able to hear the cannon shot. They fire off the cannon at the courthouse.
Yeah, they set up there. They didn't think we'd hear it down here. I think we should.
I think we would. Check. It works. Morning, everybody. We're going to get started off down here. You'll have to pardon me. I'm suffering through a little bit of a summer cold, so if the voice cracks, we're just going to have to deal with it. We're going to hope it's going to get along here. Good morning to everybody. And once again, my name is Jay Philippi. I'm from SC93 Radio, and I'll be your MC today. We're going to try and get things rolling along here. They're about ready to get started up at the top. This is tough because I can't see what's going on up there, so we're just going to get started down here and get everything ready. To start us off from a little bit of Heaven Ministries, let me introduce Sue Miles.
Hello, everybody. You having fun yet? Yeah. I'm going to do a Lee Greenwood song for you and kind of start off the day. And it's called God Bless the USA. If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with my children in my life. I'd thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Wow, thank you so much. Now, would you do me all just a great big favor, and would you all stand up, and I'd like to do the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, let's get our dignitaries up here. I know we've got members of the Chautauqua Town Board with us and the mayor of Mayville, Dave Crandall, with us. Come on up, guys. Grab yourself a seat. The judges list. Thank you. Let me also introduce the judges today, the New York Penn judges assigned to judge this parade. Judging marching is Lindsay Scott from Cuba, New York. Judging music will be Bill Coco of Springville, New York. Judging percussion is Jim Stefan of Dunkirk, New York. Judging twirling is Rose Snios of Lancaster, New York. And the chief judge is Lindsay Scott today. So, let me introduce now the gentleman who will lead us in our invocation, Father Ray Donahue.
On the beautiful day that God has given us, let's pause for a moment in prayer. Almighty and loving God, on this day we celebrate our freedom and our independence. We truly thank you and we praise you for blessing us in so many ways in this wonderful land. Watch over us all and guide us. Bless our families and the whole human family, all our leaders, that our nation may indeed be one nation under God, always indivisible, with liberty and justice for all people, the young and the old, the poor, the rich, the born, unborn. And we make this prayer and we praise you and thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, have they started yet? Okay. Yeah, double check, please. Thank you. Yes, sir. All right, as I said, it's kind of an interesting change this year after all the years that I have done the parade here in Mayville, and the fact that, to the best of our knowledge, the gun at the courthouse has been fired, and the parade is underway, and we have no clue what's going on right now. So, you'd be amazed how well that describes most of the process of putting this together. The committee that puts together this parade every year, you need to be reminded, are a group of private citizens just like ourselves. They are working by themselves, raising funds. This is not something that is supported by governmental bodies except with their energetic, enthusiastic moral support. The money for this comes together in a long, hard battle that for the July 1996 parade will begin tomorrow. So, in the next 12 months, if you happen to come across an event or a little jug or a canister or something that says Mayville 4th of July Parade, please remember to drop a couple of nickels in there, because, believe me, this is an extremely expensive proposition to put together every year. It has become a wonderful new tradition here in Chautauqua County. Remember, this is the only 4th of July parade held on the 4th in the entire county. This is the county's 4th of July parade. So it doesn't matter where you live or where you're from, this one is for you as well. I want to remind you as well, told you about that little voice break thing we're going to have to worry about here. I want to remind you as well, as we wait for the first unit to roll down the hill towards us here, that once the parade is over, everyone is invited over to Lakeside Park here in Mayville. There is a full slate of activities going on. Your chance to check out all kinds of great food, great games, more rides, I think, this year than I remember seeing in years gone by as we came through. The SE93 Music Machine will be there as well, so yours truly going to be hanging around, and we'll be broadcasting live from noon until 6 this afternoon. So we've got all of that going on. It is just going to be a very, very busy day, and we hope you're going to spend your entire day with your family here in Mayville. Yellow. Okay. We also have somebody new with us here this year. It'll be easy for most of us to overlook, and that is the newest addition to the media family, Access Channel 5, which is broadcasting this and onto the cable system, and we welcome them, and hope I look good because the camera's pointed right at me today. So good morning or good afternoon to everybody, and hope you're enjoying us. If you are at home and can't be with us here in Mayville, we hope you're going to enjoy the parade, and we hope my voice will hang out long enough so I can describe everything that's going on. It's photo opportunity time, excuse me. I found the perfect job for myself, didn't I? All this ham, and I get paid for it too. It's just wonderful. We have got a beautiful day if the weather forecast holds out, which of course has been a dubious thing the last couple of weeks. But if the weather forecast holds out, we should have a beautiful day right through. And last time I talked to our meteorologist at the radio station, he assured me that viewing conditions tonight for the fireworks should be excellent as well. So we'll keep our fingers crossed there. In the meantime, I keep waiting to see something come around that corner. Anything come around that corner. But we are waiting on them as they make their way slowly down. Again, different location for us this year down here at the bottom of the hill with all of the judging and everything. It's going to allow, for a variety of reasons, if you're wondering why it was moved, it's going to allow units to do their performances on the flat, if nothing else. I always felt bad, particularly the years that we have had the gymnasts in the parade. I've always felt bad because you watch these very talented young ladies doing their tumbling routines headed downhill. We avoided disaster year after year after year, but on the whole, I think they're going to be much happier to be doing their routine down here on the flat if they're with us. But just a better chance for everybody to get along and enjoy themselves. So, in the meantime, we keep waiting. Anytime you do something for the first time, of course, it can be difficult getting the timing down. I mean, we had everything down in years gone by because we had simply done it so often. But just waiting for the timing and for them to join us here as we head down onto the home stretch. Your chance to support a lot of good causes today when you go to Lakeside Park. I want to remind you about that, too. A lot of the organizations that are there selling food and things like that and other opportunities, your chance to support some very good causes out there, including the DARE program. I know some of the volunteer fire departments are fundraising as well, so please keep that in mind. And as I would imagine, as usual, you will also find a place where you can make a donation for next year's fund as well. The fireworks display all by itself each 4th of July costs thousands of dollars for the committee to put together. And then when you get into things like insurance payments and the rest of that, you know the bills go up very quickly. So your donations today and in the year to come will be greatly appreciated as always. Well, I have now gone through all of the material that I plan to spread out during the entire course of the parade. You're sure they're coming? We are assured that there is, in fact, a parade in Mayville today. It's just not in this part of Mayville yet. Next year we start the parade sooner. One of the other reasons why we moved the judging stand primarily down here and the viewing stand along with it was that we felt that having the units stop and go through their routine for the judges' benefit that close to the beginning of the parade created unnecessary pauses. I don't know that we've solved this problem here at the beginning of the parade. call and available for traffic details, search and rescue, security and crowd control, police escorts like this parade, and more. And they provide a highly visible, popular, and positive public relations aspect to the County Sheriff's Department and to law enforcement in general. The outfit, headed up by Captain Richard Borst of Sherman and First Lieutenant Fred Crosscut of Sherman. Each of the deputies of this division give generously of their time and service to our county. Collectively, they represent over 200 years of service. The captain returns our salute this morning. Next up is our Grand Marshal. The Chautauqua County 4th of July Committee announces Mr. Lynn Campbell as the 1995 Grand Marshal. He has supported Mayville for a long time as a businessman. He is a great supporter of Mayville and Chautauqua County. He has always given the committee a helping hand with the 4th celebration. He has always been there for us. Our thanks extended from Tim Jacobson, who is the chairperson of the 4th of July Committee. Lynn's been in business since 1961 here in the village. He took over the management then of the Shearer's clothing store from his dad, who had run it since 1944. He and his wife, Gail Svensson, also own the Viking Trader on the Chautauqua Institution grounds. They've been doing screen printing for 5 years. He got into a new line of business following a philosophy Gail introduced him to through a book called Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow. A pen and ink artist, Lynn became frustrated, handing his work over to someone else to reproduce. It was never up to his standards. Ladies and gentlemen, our Grand Marshal. Next up, the Lake Chautauqua Memorial Post number 8647 VFW from here in Mayville. The color guards are veterans. The commander is Arnold McIntyre. Next up, the Mayville Boy Scout Troop number 126, which is sponsored by the Mayville VFW. They are carrying the flags of the 5 services plus the 50th anniversary of World War II flag. Ignore it, Scooter. I could use a little spacing right now.
Yeah.
First time for everything. Our next unit is the Ladies Auxiliaries to the VFW Post 8647 here in Mayville. This is their VFW Auxiliary Marching Unit. Shirley Sherman is the president. We've got another marching unit now. This is the Junior Girls Unit of the Lake Chautauqua Auxiliary number 8647. The chairman is Faye D'Amico. And their advisor is Jenny Dorman. President is Kelly Shaw. I'll spend the rest of the day being petrified that I will get the names wrong.
And what was that one that you just did?
For the last one?
This one, right? You just announced number 6.
Number
right?
6, yes. The
Girls.
junior girls.
Okay.
That's this
She
group
said
here.
this 31 got shoved in here, which is, we'll have to watch for this Nubus team wagon, and I'll let you know
Okay.
when I see him, because I will recognize that.
Next up from the Mayville Fire Department. This is their classic 1924 Selden pumper. It was one of Mayville's first motorized pieces of equipment. And the Selden pumper, of course, also a tradition in the Mayville 4th of July parade. Following that is R251, the brand new 1994 ambulance. This is the first parade that the ambulance has appeared in. Next unit from the Mayville Fire Department. This is one of those that It doesn't necessarily have all the sexiness that the pumper trucks do, but all the rest of that. But R252 carries a lot of very important equipment, including the Hearst tool, the generator, and other heavy rescue equipment. And there are times when it may be the most important vehicle at the scene.
You're doing such a good job. Do you want me to take your cards, or you want
I just want to make sure that. Next, E251. This is a 1,500 gallon per minute pumper truck, 1,000 gallon tank. When the Mayville Fire Department needs the big guns, this is the main attack truck. And following that, Engine 253, a 1,250 gallon per minute pump with a 1,000 gallon tank and 2,600 feet of large diameter hose. Okay, Dunkirk Patriots next. Looks like them. That's it. Time for a little marching music. What's a parade on the 4th of July without a great band? This one's been here in Mayville for many years, and they're an outstanding band. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dunkirk Patriots Drum and Bugle Corps. The Dunkirk Patriots Drum and Bugle Corps, ladies and gentlemen. Next up from St. Mary's Preschool in Mayville. They're having their roundup with the help of their teachers, Sheila Hammond and Jody Weezy. The children and their families have worked hard to get ready for this hayride. They tie-dyed bandanas, they paper-mache'd animals, and they rounded up some letters and numbers just for you. St. Mary's Preschool, where learning is fun. Moving along with our preschool, you'll see our clowns this morning, Tracy and Sparky. They're in the senior clown division, and they're just clowning around. Next up, from the Chautauqua Lake Region Antique Auto Club, these are some antique cars. The club was sponsored in 1957. They sponsor the Dunkirk Flea Market and the Jamestown Little League World Series of Cars. And we've got a couple of beauties for you today. Chautauqua Lake Region AACA, Frank Tantillo, the president. There are 150 plus members of this club. Our color guard, the Mayville American Legion color guard from post number 493. That's the William L. Travis post. The commander is Steve Beekark. They've got 383 members. They were chartered in 1920 and are celebrating their 75th anniversary. Ladies Auxiliary now from the William L. Travis Unit, number 493 here in Mayville. The group has over 100 members. They're always looking for new ones. President Bert Rosage is carrying the unit colors. Rita Jacobson carrying the nation's colors. They are both members of the 4th of July Celebration Committee. Howdy. This is the Mayville Chautauqua Sports League. Dave Stimson is the president. They provide organized baseball and softball for boys and girls ages 7 to 13 in Mayville and Chautauqua in 3 divisions: minor league, girls softball, and youth league. There are over 200 people involved in the sports league. Okay. Right on. We got the Cooks in their antique car. Cool. Next up, this is George and Pat Cook from Westfield, New York, in a 1949 Plymouth Special Deluxe. They don't make them like that anymore, do they, George? Next up from Collins, New York, this is Bill Grimm. Team on a covered wagon. They're members of the State Line Draft Horse Association. It says Rwanda there. It says Collins here.
Get that straight. Who's that going to?
Yeah, that's the Grimms. Where they live? Next up from Northeast Pennsylvania, this is Dick Hoover. Team and wagon, also members of the State Line Draft Horse Association. We got the Miss Poppy contest. Next up, this is the Miss Poppy contest. John W. Dill, number 434, American Legion Auxiliary. It represents their junior auxiliary. This is the first Miss Poppy and Little Miss Poppy for 1995. Marla McIntyre is Miss Poppy. And Aaron Grzgrzewski, Little Miss Poppy. Was I close, Aaron? I was close. Okay, that's the one that's out. Next up, it's the Howdah Club from the Jamestown Shrine Club on their motorized float. Marshall Carlson is their president and leader. Shriners ride and participate in parades to let you know that crippled children are treated free at all Shriners Hospital. For information, contact a Shriner or call 1-800-873-5437. Thank you, Shriners. Next up from Pine Valley, we have got the Pine Valley Junior Royalettes, Tiny Tots, and the Pine Valley Royal Tones Marching Band. The Junior Royalettes and the Tiny Tots are under the direction of Robin Giles. The group consists of girls and boys ages 4 to 13, marching to the song The Sign. Oh, yeah. Not quite sure what we're waiting for. at least a Legion unit coming.
This is all, we've got all Casadegas, so that will be easier.
Okay.
American Legion Auxiliary. Casadega.
Yep. Next up, Color Guard unit. This is the Casadega Memorial Post number 1280 of the American Legion Veterans Color Guard. Robert Barrett is their commander. They have 236 members. The Casadega Memorial Post number 1280 American Legion Color Guard. But that's
He must be making sure everybody is who they're supposed to be, right?
that's SOP too. There's always a judge down there. Sometimes there's two. Next, also up from the Casadega Memorial Unit number 1280 American Legion. This is the American Legion Auxiliaries Veteran Color Guard. Peggy Guichard is their president. They have 193 members. Our next unit is the Casadega Memorial Squadron number 1280, Sons of the American Revolution. They're listed as an unattached color guard. Commander Craig Nickerson. They have 90 members. Next up, we have a float for you in the parade from the Casadega Memorial Post number 1280 in Casadega, New York. They are celebrating their 50th anniversary this year, and their float depicts Americanism, its unyielding devotion to children and youth, and its never-ending commitment to God and country. The entire Memorial Post boasts a membership of over 500 people, including the Auxiliary and the Sons of the Legion. Robert Barrett is their commander. to previous page. Time now for a little bit more marching music today. Here's the Pine Valley Royal Tones Marching Band with drum major Bethany Hills. They are from South Dayton, New York, under the direction of Tim Stockman. Color guard instructor is Melissa Congdon. The band is very happy to be there today. They hope you enjoy the performance as drum major Bethany Hills directs an exciting Spanish-style opener entitled Arriba Banda, followed by the country and western-style classic Rollin' in My Sweet Baby Arms. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Pine Valley Royal Tones. The Pine Valley Royal Tones Marching Band, ladies and gentlemen. I have never seen a marching electric guitar before. That's a first. Next up, the Cassadaga Volunteer Fire Department from Cassadaga, New York. Their president is John Pattison. Their chief, Phil Moscato. Cassadaga has been serving their village since the 1940s. They have 58 members. Also from the Cassadaga Volunteer Fire Department, their 1933 Chevrolet Masters. Still in service, it says here. The truck captain and driver is Barry Wilcox. Next up, Engine 101, 1987 Young pumper built right here in western New York. This truck can pump up to 2,000 gallons a minute and is the largest of its kind in Chautauqua County. Next up, a float for you from the Village Coners Ice Cream Shop. Nothing says summer quite like ice cream, and this float is sponsored by the Village Coners Ice Cream Shop right at the Corners in Mayville. We worked a long time getting Coners and Corners to come out differently. Next up, the Ray Nellis team of Jill and Ruby. These are Belgian ponies. They weigh about 1,000 pounds apiece. Just in front of the horse team, I don't want to forget them, Larry Johnston Construction Company. 20-month-old Levi Madden in his custom-built racing wagon being pulled by Brian Paternosh and Matthew Gambing, so thank you to them. Next up, 1968 Ford Mustang. He says it's original except for the paint. This is Jim Weidman IV from Mayville, New York. Next up, Dan and Deborah Ames on a carriage drawn by a team of registered Belgians. Next up, we have a goat named Skipper, pulling his owner, Doug Hotchkiss, from Asheville, New York. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you may not have noticed it, but we've passed a milestone. Division 1 of 3 divisions just completed. We start into the second third of our parade today. Leading the way from the New York State Police stationed at the Falconer Barracks, commanded by Major Pedro Perez, driving their Chevrolet Camaro, Trooper Fred Andriaccio. Followed by the four-wheel drive Jeep being driven by Trooper Dan Burns. And along with him, McGruff, the crime dog, to take a bite out of crime. Nice guy, Fred. Real nice guy. Just for that, the next time you come in to record, Fred, it's going to take 4 times as long as usual. And passing by the reviewing stand right now, here comes McGruff, the crime dog. Next up, the Chautauqua County Color Guard American Legion. Orville Butcher, the president. They started with 6 members in 1988. They are now up to 18, and they took first place last year on the July 4th celebration. Next up, the Jamestown Area All-Star Cheerleaders. They call themselves the Jumping Jacks. Karen McAndrews is their president and head coach. They're 25 kids from ages 8 to 13. They are a non-profit organization. The Jacks compete at local and national competitions. They are the Northern Chautauqua County champions in their division. A group of children ranging in age from 8 to 13 from Jamestown, Lakewood, Asheville, Panama, Westfield, and Allegheny. Their goal to compete at the National Cheerleaders Association National Competition in Dallas, Texas this year. The Jamestown Area All-Star Cheerleaders, the Jumping Jacks, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, the NCA Super Squad. That's the National Cheerleaders Association with coaches Crystal Brown and Melissa Hagberg. Super Squads are groups of children, kindergarten through the 8th grade, that are interested in learning more about the growing sport of cheerleading. NCA Super Squads promote involvement for everyone. There are no competitions and there are no tryouts. NCA Super Squads are instructed by the nation's most qualified staff and certified by the National Cheerleaders Association. The area director for the NCA is Marianne Lundquist. Easy to get in touch with. Call 763-CHEER. I didn't know steamboats could backfire. How about a nice round of applause for the Jumping Jacks and the NCA Super Squad? They don't need us. They give themselves a nice round of applause. Next up, from the Stockton Volunteer Fire Company, the Stockton Volunteer Fire Department's marching unit. Next up, we have a group called ABATE, which stands for American Bikers Aim Towards Education. They work towards motorcycle safety and public awareness. David Small is their president. This is ABATE from Dunkirk, New York. Next up, we've got another one of our veteran color guard units. This is the VFW County Color Guard from VFW post number 53 in Jamestown, New York. Tom Todaro is their president. Next up, here's one of the favorites in the band, the parade every year, the Ismailia Oriental Band. Alfred Nuns is the president. Donald Heyman is the director. There's 15 plus members. This is a group of Shriners from Ismailia Temple in New York. They've won 2 national and many regional championships. Shriners are Masons who operate 22 orthopedic hospitals and burn units free of charge for all children in the United States and Canada. The Ismailia Oriental Band from Chautauqua. All right, time for some classic automobiles here. From the Chautauqua Cruisers. They've got approximately 35 members. They're an informal group of dedicated classic and older car buffs who enjoy restoring, cruising, and displaying the American Dream machines. This is not the end of the parade. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I can assure you this is not the end of the parade. We're about halfway through right now. See, if it sounded like this at the radio station, I'd just play more music, but... I'd like to remind everybody, as always, right about this time of the parade every year, we remind everybody to please stay behind the white lines on the street. The reason for this is simple. We've got a lot of very large, heavy machines and some large, heavy horses in the course of the parade. The horses especially get spooked if you crowd them too much. So for the safety of everybody involved, please stay behind the white lines, and please keep your children behind the white lines as well. Thank you very much. All right, here we go once again. Next up, these are the Dusty Boot Dancers from Mayville, New York. Their instructor, Chris and Sue Johnson from Harbor Creek. They have members from Erie, Harbor Creek, Northeast, Mayville, Westfield, Jamestown. The tractor has been donated by Ward Rayner Truck Parts, and the trailer donated by Percy Nickerson. Their president is Kathy Bowers, and there are 80 members in the Dusty Boot Dancers. How about a nice round of applause for the Dusty Boot Country Dancers? Rolling right along, next up from the DeWittville Fire Department. Dale Aiken, the president, Dave Brown, the chief, Jeff Munson, the assistant chief. Here's engine number 221, a 1,000-gallon pumper with a 1,000-gallon tank and can generate 5-gallon foam. Next up, we have a 4-horse hitch of black Percherons, all 2 years old. Jim and Zephyr in the lead, Bob and Barney on the wheel, Vic Kent, the driver, Melissa Ramsey, Amanda Kent, and Marcus Kent, our outriders. From Kent's Percheron and Hitch in Sherman, New York. Next folks are from Nickerson Farms in Mayville, New York. Our thanks to them and our apologies because we seem to have lost their information card. Next up, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Boy Scouts Troop number 187 and the young women with a handcart that the early pioneers used to go out west. After that, the Lakewood Legion. They have 700 members at the post. This is their color guard. The commander today is Lou Scalisi. Their unit commander is Randy Hinsdale. Cummins Engine Company, Baker Street Extension in Lakewood likes to call this the Wild Thing. It ran in the 1994 Baja 1000. Their major sponsors are Navistar International and Cummins Engine Company. It is powered by a stock Cummins M11 370E 370 horsepower engine built at the Cummins Jamestown Engine Plant. The chassis was custom fabricated by Bill Savage at the T-Mag shop in Vista, California. It's got an Allison automatic transmission and weighs 9,000 pounds. And it's going to be on display at the park all this afternoon. Check it out. Next up from the Hartfield Volunteer Ambulance Rescue Squad. Here's the ambulance itself. Brendan Nowicki and Barb Davis are the co-captains of this 17-member unit. And next up from the Hartfield Volunteer Fire Company, the Hartfield World Famous Chicken. Lester Johnson is the president. From Clear Creek Carriages in Ellington, New York, an 1852 restored town coach being pulled by a team of Welsh ponies. Well, here they come. For a lot of people, this is the high point of the parade every year. The Shrine Mini Bikes and the Gowanda Mini Corps from Gowanda, New York. It consists of members of the Gowanda Shrine Club, #1, the oldest active shrine club in North America. The basic function of the shrine is, of course, to raise funds for the support of the Shrine Hospital Network for Crippled Children, 19 orthopedic and 3 burn institutes. Since their creation in the 1920s, over 500,000 have been treated. The Gowanda Mini Corps have won numerous motorized drill championships at the New York Penn Parade and judging championships and the New York Ontario Shrine Association. This group of extremely dedicated men always provide enjoyment wherever they perform. Time now to enjoy another show by the Gowanda Mini Corps Motorized Drill Team. Ladies and gentlemen, from the oldest shrine in North America, go on to Shrine Club number 1, the Gowanda Mini Corps. Coming up next, an automobile that I've had a little personal experience with because it rode me down the hill today. From St. Mary's Church right here in Mayville, this is Father Ray Donahue, the gentleman who led us in prayer at the beginning of the parade in his 1929 Model A Ford. Father Ray tells me he did a lot of the restoration both inside and out himself. The car belongs to Father Ray, just like the license plate says. Next up, a veteran color guard. These are the Vietnam Veterans of America, chapter number 459 from Chautauqua County, New York. George McIntyre is their president. Ladies and gentlemen, Chautauqua County has been justifiably proud over the last couple of years of the number of state champions that we have produced. Coming up next is something a little special. From Chautauqua County, the 1994 World Champion Soapbox Derby Racer, our very own Christina DeMond. Christina won out of a field of 108 competitors in Akron, Ohio to win her World Championship last year. She is the first girl to win this division, the first from New York State, and the first in 37 years to put New York State in the Soapbox Derby Hall of Fame. In her past 3 years of racing, she's placed second twice, first once, and won her World Championship. Not a bad record. Thank you, Christina, for honoring our county with a World Championship. Well, here comes another one of the traditions of the Mayville 4th of July parade. It's Camp Booze and Snooze. Well, they may not be rich and famous, but the annual gathering of the folks from Camp Booze and Snooze have more doggone fun on the 4th of July than catching a greased pig at spitting time. These friendly folk with all their young'uns want to wish you all a hoot and holler and a happy hoedown 4th of July, and that ain't no lie. Next up, here's Milt Larson in his 1928 model AA Ford, and his not so rich and famous passengers would like you all to wish you a happy 4th of July. Milt would like to remind you all to get on down to the Antique Equipment Show August 19th and 20th in Hartfield, New York. Also up, Blumenfield Flowers in Mayville. They want to be home-cooked victuals and snoozing under a shade tree. They ain't see the Klan in a coon's age, so when the chores are all done on the 4th of July, they'll kick up their heels and enjoy the country. Some junior and senior riders now from Camp Booze and Snooze as well. Camp Booze and Snooze will now attempt to bribe the judges. Our riders in the junior and senior rider categories, we have Rachel Rossage, Bobby Rossage, Mac Matthew, Presbyora, and Amanda. And our last two clowns, also from Camp Booze and Snooze, who just attempted the bribery up here. Ted Hansen from Beaujean Road, who's whipping up, they say, the best doggone homebrewed shine ever in Hanson County. Next up in the best team and wagon category, 4-horse hitch on a wagon, Larry Harrington from Mayville. The horses' names are Frank and Jake as the lead team, King and Captain on the wheel. These are Belgians. They weigh from 1,600 pounds up to 2,000 pounds. They're shown at fairs and parades as well as doing some farm work at home and attending draft horse events throughout New York and Pennsylvania. And they belong to the State Line Draft Horse Club. From Westfield, these are the Westfield Golden Hawk Cheerleaders and Mike Eck of Country Born. The Golden Hawk Midget Cheerleaders dance the KJ Kick line dance to Mike Eck's original song, Honky Tonk Fever. Kim Ames, Mike Eck's 15-year-old stepdaughter, created the KJ Kick line dance just for this song.
Ladies and gentlemen, it took the Golden Hawk cheerleader spirit and country music to bring you the spirit of country. Mountains off the wall, down to work. Texas home and you go down there. Got that honky tonk fever. Got that honky tonk fever.
the Westfield Golden Hawk Cheerleaders, and Mike Eck of Country Born. Next up, these are the Go-Karters from Mayville, New York. Casey Mulkins, Ricky Miller, and Kendall Mulkins, with the theme "Just Say No to Drugs and No Driving While Drinking." Busted. The Go-Karters. Our next unit is from Henry Mosher, post number 638 of the American Legion. This is the Honor Guard and Color Guard from Falconer, New York. Squad Secretary is Wayne Valentine. President is Blair Hollabaugh. They've got a long history of over 25 years of participating statewide and in Canada for veterans programs, ceremonies, and parade. The Henry Mosher, post number 638, American Legion. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mayville Central School Marching Band under the direction of Mr. David Lorette. The Grand Old Flag is this year's marching band theme. The flag corps is made up of members of the Mayville 5th grade band members, the Mayville Central School Band. The Mayville Central School Band, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, we have from the Westfield Volunteer Fire Department, their marching unit. Fire Department of Westfield was established in 1872. The department consists of 3 companies: the Hook and Ladder Company No. 1, Cascade Hose Company No. 1, and Citizen Hose Company No. 2. The chief is John Lindstrom. First assistant chief is Ed Neer. The second assistant chief is Lynn Travis. The fire chiefs carry the horns with roses to honor all deceased firemen. Also joining us is Raggedy Ann, just one of our fun-loving folks here at the parade who loves to see the little ones' expressions when they see the big doll move. Next up from Sugar Grove, Pennsylvania, this is Paul Hultberg with a team of ponies and wagons. These guys are also members of the State Line Draft Horse Association. Coming up next, this is the Chautauqua County Hazmat 7. Jack Henderson is the Hazmat coordinator. The Chautauqua County Hazmat team is in its 13th year of operation. Was the first county hazmat team in New York State with a membership of 35 volunteers. The team assists all area fire departments whenever they have a leak, spill, or fire involving hazardous materials. Next up from St. James Church in Jamestown, New York, the St. James Clown and Mime Ministers. This is a group of young Catholics dedicated to the spirit of laughter and the service to others through their humor, their liturgical movement, and their love of God. Their spirit reaches out to all those in every faith and in every corner. Next up, this is Joe and Sandy DeJoe with their horses Candy and Lady pulling a covered wagon, which was rebuilt and done entirely in oak. And that's followed by our friends in the Asheville Fire Department. Leading off, they've brought their antique pumper with them, plus a tanker, rescue, and a pair of engines. The Asheville Fire Department. Veterans Color Guard up now. This is the Herman Kent post number 777. Color Guard and Firing Squad. Guaranteed I will be very nice to these guys. The Firing Squad was formed in 1921 and has been performing in various functions to this day. Post number 777, Firing Squad and Color Guard, has been recognized in many district, department, and national convention parades. Down through the years, the Firing Squad commander is Alan Crick. They're followed by the Herman Kent number 777 Auxiliary Color Guard. The Color Guard has 13 members and has been together for at least 17 years. They've competed in many parades throughout the area. Their president is Evelyn Crick. And following them from the Herman Kent post number 777, this is the Junior Auxiliary Color Guard. The junior unit was begun in just 1994 with Mary Wallace as the advisor. Nicole Wallace is their president. They have 12 members. Coming up next, we got the Falconer Volunteer Fire Department. In June of 1936, the village purchased a 1936 Mack 500-gallon per minute pumper from Macabary, Pennsylvania. It cost them $7,590 and would see 35 years of active service until it was retired in 1971. It responded to its first call on the Gary Levant Road. Old Mac, as is now known, brings back many memories to those who respond with it. Probably the best-known exploit happened during the Royal Electric Fire in December of 1960, which burned down almost a quarter of Falconer's business district. The Mac was the first truck on the scene, set up under the light in the middle of the village, and began pumping water into the flames. It kept pumping all day and all night, refueled by hand using 5-gallon cans. Pumping when the trucks around it were freezing up, the Mac ended up pumping over 20 hours nonstop. The next morning, before it could be moved, the firemen had to chop thick ice that had formed around the tires of the truck. It had frozen solid to the ground where it stood. It was sold in the early 70s to a collector from Wheatfield, New York. Then in 1987, the Volunteer Firemen's Association bought the truck back from the collector, raised the money, and restored the vehicle to its original condition. That included rebuilding the engine, upholstering the seats, repainting and lettering the entire truck. Old Mac now back to where it started in a slightly less strenuous line of work. A slightly newer addition to the Falconer Fire Department. Next up from Churchville Fire Equipment. This is a demonstration Pierce pumper. Some of the newest and latest equipment being built to fight fires. Next up, from the Brockton Fire Company in Brockton, New York, we have our Brockton Fire Company Queen for 1995. This is Miss Kathy Kelly, a senior at Brockton Central School. She'll represent the department at various parades throughout the summer of 1995. Next up, this is the Brockton Fire Company. Fire Chief is John Harrell. Their President, Gary Magnuson. Their Firemen's Color Guard and Marching Unit from the Brockton Fire Company, Brockton, New York. Here comes another one of the traditions for a 4th of July parade, Hobo Yogi and his limousine. Michael Hawk is the president of this novelty, comic, thematic, unique event from West Edinburgh, Pennsylvania. Next up from Van Dorn's Clock Shop in Sugar Grove, Pennsylvania. Here's a 1949 Chevrolet panel truck. Well, they're out of range by now. Children will be children. Hi, guys. Next up, this is the Torrentali family and friends. They're from Cleveland, Ohio, but join us here. The Torrentalis, John, Jonathan, Marianne, and Suzanne. The Blanchards, Brian, Annie, and Mark. The Halls, Lindsay, and Corey, and all of their other friends. They also get help from Nora, Mary, and the Wagners, Gordon and Jane. They participate each year in the 4th of July parade. They'd like to show their appreciation and pride in Mayville and the Chautauqua Lake community, a community that truly reflects the spirit of the country and all that that means to each of us. The theme of the family float this year, Take Us Out to the Ball Game. What better reflects the spirit of country than the all-American pastime baseball? The players, the fans, little leagues and the pros, young and old, girls and boys, hot dogs, popcorn, hard work and play, families and friends. The great American spirit is the spirit of country. Next up, some more classic automobiles, the Southern Tier Classic Chevrolet Club. Headquartered in Brockton, Ted Wallen is the president. Southern Tier Classic Chevy has about 50 members. They consist of 55, 56, and 57 Chevys only. The club also sponsors the Perkins Cruise-Ins at Fredonia and the Walmart Cruise-Ins in Jamestown. They also put on a 50s dance every year, and the proceeds go to the Kids World charity of Perkins. Next up, number 113. This is Hot Shot for Hire Hauling. They've got a custom-built rig here, built for 3,000 pounds or less. You need something hauled. These are the people to talk to. Hot Shot for Hire Hauling, Asheville, New York. Mr. and Mrs. Davis from Mayville with their classic automobile. Followed by the folks from 3C's Recreation. They're a full-line and full-service Polaris dealer, owned and operated by Chris and Tom Anzalone. They're located on Route 430 east of Mayville. Stop by and see them anytime. They're open 7 days a week, year-round. Our next marching unit is from the Sheridan Fire Department. Their chief is Martin Miller. They just took delivery of a brand new miscellaneous vehicle last month. Next up from Sherman, New York, William A. Warner Sr. and an American golf cart. Here they come, another tradition on the 4th of July. Ladies and gentlemen, the Deutschmeister Band. The Deutschmeister Band, ladies and gentlemen, horse and wagon courtesy of Dave and B.B. Eggert, Canes and Mains Farm, Westfield, New York. Next up, this is Miss Ellington, New York, from the Ellington Volunteer Fire Department. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the Lighthouse Point Woodchucks. Now you know as much about them as I do. Next up, our 1964 Chrysler 300 from Henry Texter of Mayville, New York. Gary Silvas is up next with a classic 63 Chevrolet. They're from Corey, Pennsylvania. And after that, Bill Sheasley of Lakewood, New York in a 62 Impala SS. Next up, the Westfield Varsity Cheerleaders. They've qualified for the National Dance and Cheerleading Championships each of the last 2 years, capturing the National Dance Championship last year and National Cheerleaders first runner-up this year. They've recently won the Northeast Dance Championship and will be performing in Hawaii in December. Ladies and gentlemen, the Westfield Varsity Cheerleaders. Next up, the Chautauqua Volunteer Fire Department from Chautauqua, New York. Next up, here's the Panama Fire Company. And we follow that up with the Gary Fire Department, home of the 51st Annual Gary Rodeo, August 9th through the 13th. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's always two things that signal the end of the parade here at the 4th of July in Mayville. One of them is the National Guard Unit, Company B, 1st of the 127th Armor from the Porter Avenue Armory in Jamestown, New York, with the tank and the tank retriever. But more importantly, for those of you who live here in Mayville, it's the Pooper Scooper detail that cleans up all of the various and sundry horse leavings. So as they head down the hill, I want to thank you all for being here with us today. I want to invite you to come on over to Mayville Lakeside Park and enjoy the day. And I hope you'll keep listening to yours truly. I'm Jay Philippi from SC93 Radio in Jamestown. Everybody have a happy and safe 4th of July.